With rapport, pretty much anything's possible. Without rapport, pretty much nothing is. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you not just how to get rapport over the phone, but how to use it to help you to get much better results over the telephone as a recruitment professional. Please watch through to the end because I've got a couple of extra special little bits at the end for you. And as always, remember to subscribe, hit the bell down the bottom so that you get alerts for when the next video is coming out so you don't miss any of the exciting goodies. I'm Stephen Long. I have been involved in recruitment for more than 20 years. I've trained more than 50,000 recruitment consultants from the high street temp and contract all the way through to the highest of the high-end executive search and selection firms. And I've also run and sold my own executive search firm in the financial sector. So I've been there and done that, and I've got a collection of t-shirts that are available on eBay. The important thing is I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of work to establish not just what should work or might work or could work or ought to work or sounds good, but what actually does work. Because I assume that you, like me, are interested in that above pretty much everything else. So let's crack on with it, shall we? So we're going to go through a 3-stage process because rapport, firstly, it's not what most people think it is. And secondly, we don't just want to get rapport. You know, the point of this is not so that you feel really comfortable and excited about not doing business with someone. What we're going to do is look at how you actually use rapport. What's the purpose of it as a recruitment professional? Rapport is an unconscious process. The moment the other person becomes conscious of you trying to gain rapport with them, it becomes a front of brain, it becomes a conscious process. And it turns from matching into mimicking or taking the mickey. And that's no way to build a successful relationship. There are 4 pieces of behavior that you can match. You can match somebody's speed of speech, their volume, their tone, not their accent. That's just no. And their key words. For example, if somebody says fantastic and you say great, they don't mean the same thing as far as that person's concerned. So volume, speed of speech, tone of voice, never accents, and the key words that they use. And if you match those things, you maximize the chance of gaining rapport with somebody. I mean, I've been involved in recruitment for 20 years, but I've been involved in sales and teaching salespeople for 30 years. I've also been a salesperson for longer than that. And in all that time, I have never had anybody go, "Stephen, will you stop speaking at the same speed as me? It's annoying." Who the hell notices that? Who notices that you're speaking at the same speed as them? It just doesn't happen. And that's the secret here. The first moment of that phone call, the phone rings, your client, candidate, prospect picks up the phone and they say, "Hi, Stephen speaking." Now, do you then go, "Hello, my name's Dick, Jane or Spot and I'm calling from XYZ. Oh, and yes, I did use the letter Z there on purpose. If I'm speaking like this and you speak like that, you instantly mismatch me. Alternatively, if I go, "Yeah, hello, it's Stephen speaking," and you go, "Hi, it's Dick, Jane and Spot and I'm calling from XYZ. Really? Instant mismatch. So what we're looking to do, the first moment that they speak, you've got the opportunity to match their behaviour, not their personality, not their communication style, not their whatevers, just their behaviour. You're not trying to be a different person. You're just trying to behave in a slightly different way. So if they answer the phone and they speak fast and loud, speak fast and loud. If they answer the phone and they speak softly and slowly, speak softly and slowly. Oh, Stephen, that sounds a bit simple. Sounds a bit simplistic. Simple is not the same as simplistic. Common sense isn't always common practice. Now, what I know from dealing with, I've trained 50,000 people, I've interviewed and interacted with many times that, when you're innately, when you're just happen to be like someone, then you will automatically speak and interact in the same way they do. What I'm suggesting here is that you do it consciously. From the first words out of your mouth. You might say exactly the same words in all those different situations, but it's the speed, volume, tone that changes slightly. Getting rapport is not the point. Getting rapport, it's kind of nice, but if you're not careful, what you end up with is feeling really comfortable with them, and you trust them, and it's an absolute pleasure to not do business with them. Oops. The purpose of rapport is not to have it, it's to use it, which takes us to the next 2 stages in the framework. The second stage is test. And you test whether you actually have rapport, as opposed to trying to kid yourself that you've done a good job so far. The way to test whether you have it is to change some part of your behaviour and see if they go with you. If you speak faster and they speak faster, if you speak more quietly and they speak more quietly, then you have rapport and you can use it. If you speed up and they don't, if you get a bit quieter or louder and they don't, you haven't got rapport. It's as simple as that. So you test it. Don't fall into the hallucination of, oh, I've done rapport, so we must be on the same wavelength. No, test it. Find out, be sure. Does that make sense? Because then, once you've tested that you've got rapport, you use it for the third stage of the framework, which is lead. Match, test, lead. And we lead by taking the other person's mood with us on a little journey. So here's a question for you. What does the other person need to feel in order to ... fill in the blanks? So what does a candidate need to feel about you and the opportunity in order to engage completely with the screening process? Or what does a client, a prospect rather, have to feel about you and your firm in order to give you an exclusive assignment or go on to a retainer? And the lead process is to take someone to that feeling. So if you want somebody to feel excited, let's say, you're probably not going to get them to feel excited by sounding like this. And then you match and you test and you lead, and at the end of it they sound like this and you sound like this, and neither of you is excited, and guess what? Nothing's going to happen. If you want somebody to feel excited, you have to start feeling excited. More accurately, you have to start acting excited. Act as if. And I'm not talking about play acting. You don't need to go to RADA. You know what excitement feels like, and you know how that comes out in your voice. That's what you're doing. You're changing some part of your behaviour so that they start to feel a little bit excited. They start to feel the same sort of emotions and feelings and sensations that you do. This isn't voodoo, it's not black magic, it's not hippy dippy knit your own sandals stuff. This is testable, verifiable, because the middle stage, remember, is test. So match some part of their behaviour, test whether you've got rapport by speeding up, slowing down, getting louder, getting quieter, and then lead. If you speed up and you start to get excited and you really buy into the process of engaging with this prospect, and yeah, the best way of doing this, best way for you to get the results you're looking for is to do this on an exclusive basis, because the last thing you need is too many people splashing around, because it's quite a small candidate pool for this specialist role. So, you know, I genuinely think that what we should do is just do this exclusively. And now I can't sell that by sounding bored. I could sell that by sounding very calm and confident. Now, I think the best way to move forward on this is going to be to do this on an exclusive basis, because the last thing you want to do is to have too many people splashing around in the market. It's a very small pool of specialist candidates that you're looking for. So the best way to do it would be to do it on an exclusive basis. It depends on what I want the other person to experience. Do I want them calm and confident, or do I want them really pumped up and excited? Now, I know that there's a caveat here, but Stephen, you might say, what if I do this and they don't go with me? What if I get all excited and they just go, Well, what that will mean is the testing phase didn't quite work. So if you match somebody's behavior and you test it and they start to go with you, that's great. But as you lead, keep your ears open. See whether they continue to go with you. If they don't, go back to the matching stage and regain a bit more rapport. But because of the framework, match one part of their behaviour, test if it works. If you're matching their speed of speech, speed up, slow down, see if they go with you. Then try and lead them to the place you need them to be. If they stop at a certain point, go back and add in volume or tone of voice or keywords. But keep testing and lead, test and lead, test and lead, test and lead. Don't assume. Use the testing and leading process to take your client, your candidate, your prospect to the point they need to be to take the next step in the process with you, so that you go together. Rapport is not an end in itself. Rapport is a tool that you use to make everything else more effective. That's the purpose of it. So you've now got a framework that you can use very quickly in order to get on the same wavelength as somebody much faster, much more cleanly, and much more predictably. Most importantly, much more verifiably. You can know whether it works or not. Now, far be it from me to encourage you to play around with other people. That would be bad, naughty and wrong. And I would never encourage you to go and have a play with your colleagues and friends and, you know, the people around the office and the people that you interact with, because that would be naughty and bad, and I would never do that. But if I had, it might be a decent way to develop your skills before you go live on the phone. It's just a thought. Alternatively, just jump straight in. Pick up the phone. You can start this with people that you're already talking to. You don't have to automatically jump in and do it with strangers, though having said that, the downside to doing it with a stranger is zero, because if it doesn't work, you're no worse off than you were before. Whereas if it does work, you've got a massive gain. But don't kid yourself. Don't fall into the hallucination. Match, test, and lead. And if they go with you, you'll be amazed at the results that you'll be able to get. Hopefully this has been useful for you, and if it has, I said right at the outset that there were a couple of special extras that I was going to throw in as well. Now, if you look down in the video description, you'll see a link there for a free guide to the 20 most essential sales skills for recruitment professionals. Rapport, obviously, is right up there in the top 3, but there's 19 others which are, like the title says, essential for anybody who wants to successfully develop new business and either get more revenue to build their desk, or alternatively to keep their revenue the same but do it a lot easier and faster. Either of which, these 20 skills will really help you with it. You can also connect with me on Instagram and through LinkedIn. The links are just down there somewhere. And equally, please remember to hit the subscribe and the bell so that you get a notification of next week's video so that you don't miss out on any of the goodness that's coming your way.